Yeah, so I mean, it just going on, everybody? This is Master Power tapping in on levels of mastery. All right, man, we about to go live. Well, we are live. Get started in about 5 minutes. Get everybody time to join. Oh, yeah. Super excited to be here. I said, give everybody about 3 minutes to join, and then we're going to get started. This is a song with Chronics here at Base1, San Jose. Here for guardianship. I'm going to get into all that in a minute. I'm just excited. I can't even get it right. She put the fire upon them, lava splash, lightning flash, thunder crash upon them. We really see it and them a plan it from when I say Jamaica. Prison we a drop it upon them. Cause we with prison yard man a pack it from when. Tell Cameron so that it's not with problem. Poor Francis and all them fatigue and friend. I spot with two of us, I put the track in upon them. I check with schedule and them a map it from when. Should they put my hand in chin it, we slap it upon them. Still I see I have had a you guys good, man. Empress men and she had the strength of woman. Divine feminine, that a divine where she bring. When set meta sing, she destroy everything yet still in the womb. Life is within. She had the melanin of God in light in my skin. Highly Selassie, so go like with the sling. Mussolini, the foot get tied up with the string. Them singing, you require me to sing. Now follow all the evil agenda. They gonna remember Just flew in from Phoenix earlier today. Man, been handling some projects. For those that don't know, I'm a director, editor, have a media production. So I was talking to some artists and things of that nature. So, and I just came back from the gym and it's raining outside. I can't really show you guys because it's kind of gloomy, but it's a lot of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and get started, man. This is Levels of Mastery, Master Power tapping in on IMC TV. It's always a pleasure to be here to share my, my path to what I call enlightenment, bettering oneself, things of that nature, and being an example of the word that you live. That's where I come from when it comes to living and talking about what I talk about. So if you've been following along, each episode has been a level, right? Level 1, level 2, level 3. I believe we're on level 6 or 7 right now. Not too sure. So it's been about 7 weeks, 6 weeks of me doing these lives and sharing with you guys these important milestones that I found within myself to express in this path of bettering oneself, because it's like essential. It's like when you're on a path or you're building an empire, you're building a new life, you're building a new state of mind, a new way of living, you have to have very concrete concepts, ideas, and practices. If not, if you're stacking on top of old, unwanted, or not really used well concepts and things of that nature, then you're going to get the same results before you got on the path, right? And I'm not looking to go backwards. I don't think anybody's looking to go backwards, but yeah, we find ourselves in this cycle that it almost seems like we can't get out of it, right? Of course, it's just an illusion. And that's where we need to learn how to break the paradigms that we are evolving from on a day-to-day basis, week-to-week basis, depending on how tight your process is, a minute-to-minute basis, second-to-second basis, right? Millisecond-to-millisecond basis. It keeps fractionating the more in-depth you get with your processes. And what is a process? I think you guys here, if you're tapped into IMC or you've been watching any of the channels, I'm sure you heard this word called the process or the process, A to D process, IMC philosophy. It's really a ladder of high level concepts and ideas that once you apply them, your life changes drastically in the manner that you want it to go. That's very, very important. And of course, having the understanding of, you know, how much control do you really have in all this stuff? And that's like a whole nother conversation right there. But it comes down to the little things on that, right? And today, the main topic or the title of this video is called your North Star, right? What is your North Star? Meaning, when you're on your path and it's dark out and you're in the middle of nowhere, don't know where you're going, how you're gonna get there, what it looks like. What is the one light, the North Star, they say, that's gonna guide you to get to where you want to get to? And I believe one of the best ways, well, let me just start for me. What's my North Star? My North Star is having a mentor, number one. Having somebody that is a living embodiment of an example of how you want to live. Like, that is essential to have a role model of how you want to live. Now, the little bit of an unfortunate thing that's happening these days in time, there's not that much role models. So I consider myself very blessed to have a role model like that, what I have. AZD, that is the founder of IMC Nation, right? And Arash Sapar Dibazar, for those who don't know what ACD stands for. And that's essential, having a mentor. And I'm going to show you how when you start to accumulate these type of ideas for your North Star, when you need to be guided in times where you don't know what's going on or how you're going to go about certain things, these are things you need to have. Because, and I'm going to walk through the steps, but first let me just lay out what I believe for myself is a good North Star. First and foremost, like I just said, you got to have a mentor, number one. Number two, you got to have a tribe. You got to have people, and I say tribe because a crew or a team is almost not good enough, right? A tribe has a different flavor to it, because true tribesmen, true people in the tribe will never turn their back on people that they genuinely are with for survival, right? So and having a mastermind. So having a tribe / mastermind is another essential thing. And also having a better concept of living outside of where you came from. And I think these are like three top elements, because every time I find myself in that position or in that realm of life, I'm gonna take this off. This thing wants to come off. I'm gonna take it off. I notice that every time I find myself in a space where I'm like, man, I don't know what to do next, man. I don't know what to do next. The first thing I do is I go look at one of my mentors' videos or a teaching or a recording, things of that nature, because it shows me that whatever it is that I want to seek out in my life is 100% possible. And 9 times out of 10, when you see yourself in that slime or in that weird space of not knowing how to create, where to go, a lot of times you're in the space of not thinking things are possible to some degree. Like, you lost the flavor or the taste of anything is possible, right? Like, we feel that when everything is good and gravy and sunshines and rainbows and shit like that. We're like, man, we could do anything. We could take over the whole planet. But when a couple of thunderstorms come through, when shit starts getting wiped out and cleaned out and shit like that, we start second guessing. And this right here is where I want to zero in on, because the moment you start to second guess, it's like an indicator of test of faith, I like to say, or like that I see for myself. And of course, everything that I'm saying is in reference to me in my own life, and I'm just sharing it. I'm not saying you should do or not do. What I am saying is that these concepts and ideas has tremendously transformed my life, and I opened up my life for anybody to see it. So if you was to go to my Instagram, if you was to go to my YouTube, my Facebook, you can see the old character that I used to be, man. Like, I was nowhere near as expressive as how I am today. Nowhere, not even close. And a lot of these things is because I kept the concept or idea of a North Star. It's like, man, there was so many times I found myself by myself. And I was only alone with my own ideas and concept. And I started quickly weeding out any ideas and concept that was not in alignment of what I wanted. And having a North Star, having these solid concepts and principles in your mind is what's going to help you stay aligned or stay true to it. And that's important, because if I ask somebody, hey man, what is your guidance? Like what do you use to guide yourself to your next level, whatever your next level is? So if somebody was to ask me that, let's just reverse it. So if you was to ask me, Pyro, what's your, how do you guide yourself through these times like that? I'm going to say, well, listen, the first thing that I do is that first I check to see what in my immediate environment or what in my immediate circumstance is off or not in alignment of what I see. So for example, let's just say I have business or something like that, and the business is going sour or something like that, right? It's going sour because maybe they're trying to get over on me, or maybe there was a misunderstanding, things of that nature. I got to handle my communication with them so it doesn't continue to trigger the wrong way of the conversation going. And this is where having such a high level concepts and ideas of communication will save your world. Man, I can't even express to you, because listen, I was just doing a project for an artist not too long ago, and we were texting like going back and forth about like, hey, can you do it like this and send me the money? It was like about money talk and project and all that, right? And through text, I can tell the communication was going towards a negative route. At some point, it was gonna be on some like, man, fuck the project. Just I'll send you your money back. Don't even worry about it. It was going in that direction. And then I was like, I'm gonna send out this one communication line. I'm using that concept of North Star, meaning like the best thing for me to do is to remain with high level of communication by seeking what's the best way of being a good friend or positive vibe out the situation. Like, which one is it? Because if it goes sour, I'd rather it go sour off of me being the best version of myself, using the best language that I can use, versus me going sour, turning my world sour, and then I recycle that energy somewhere else in another conversation. So I told myself, I was like, you know what? I'm going to tell him, I'm going to send out this last message. I forgot what the message was exactly, but he ends up calling me. And I was like, okay, this is perfect, because that's how I like to resolve problems. I like to resolve problems through direct communication. I hate going through text messages, because through text messages, it leaves too much room for interpretation of a wrong assumption. That's something that I learned very early on doing business over texting, right? Same thing with like if you got a girlfriend, if you deal with multiple women or things of that nature, right? Text messages are bound to just go sour, because you can easily read something or use or hear one word and it just throws off the whole flavor. So having this North Star of like, hey, be the best version of yourself. What have you been practicing to keep you in that space, and exercise it? Man, that's just the biggest thing. Exercise these knowledge that we've been gaining. And I feel like a lot of times people, they soak up a lot of information, but how much application is it? True power is applied knowledge, not just acquiring knowledge, right? What good is it? What good is it to have, an army and they just sitting there looking pretty as an army, but they never are used as an army? And I feel like my knowledge is that, like, I have all these tools and all this power, but if it just sits there and I don't exercise it, then what good is it? And I feel like doing that, it almost rots your knowledge to a degree. And I think this is where I want to zero in on more, in the sense of what activities do you have in your life that helps you exercise this concept, this higher concept of yourself, right? What activities do you have? Like, for example, I just came from the gym with Drewski. Drewski is a resident of Base 3 in LA. He's here doing guardianship with me. I'm from Base 5, Phoenix. I'm here for guardianship as well. I literally just flew in today. I flew in today during Midday Gospel hosted by AZD. And from there, I came here at 8. I did some editing. I had a business phone call. Then I went to the gym, and now I'm here. And when I was at the gym and I went to the sauna, which is like my favorite activity, to be honest with you. The sauna is like my favorite activity. Gym and sauna, like that combination is just everything to me. But that is how I practice, because there's a lot of mental fortitude that happens in those two places. And there's a lot of energy that gets generated in those places. And in those spaces, in those specific places, I'm programming my mind with everything that I learned, like listening to certain ideas, certain music, certain languages, and it remains me in alignment to my North Star. So I believe that is what this is my idea, this is my concept. I feel like when we feel off, that feeling of feeling off is because we're not in alignment of our North Star. And our North Star, let's translate our North Star to our purpose or our thing that we want to reach, that potential that we want to reach, right? That potential we want to reach is our North Star. It's like this beaming light above our ideas and thoughts, right? And anytime we're not in alignment or we're not practicing things that's in that realm, we feel off. We feel negative, or somebody is push or pulling us off of that thing. We feel like we're not able to really enjoy life at the flavor we want to enjoy life. And that's something that I've been realizing for myself. So what are some things that you can inherit from this process, right? Because it's an inherence of when you start to practice things at the fullest potential that you have. So one thing that I see for myself is staying true to your physical workout, your physical process. For me, it's yoga. For me, it's like I said, the gym and sauna. Like that is yoga. The same one I learned from you, man. The lunar something. I still do that. But I have. But however, I just found the 26 poses for Bikram. So I'm literally trying to practice those right now.
Just at home on your own?
Yeah, just on some like, just.
You found just a recorded class?
No, it's like a girl doing it, and then it's like a voiceover. And it's going really quick through. It's like 30 minutes. They're going really quick through the poses. Yeah. And I think I only get like 15 minutes in because it's so fast. Really? Like I lose my breathing a little bit because I think it's because it's so fast. I'm used to doing, when I do the one you showed me, I do about 2 to 3 breaths in between. And I'm trying to keep up with the pace of them.
What would be good is if in that instance,
yeah,
is to really do like 10% effort. 5% effort, like lazy as fuck. And that way you at least get through it. Because when you're able to start anticipating what the next pose is,
yeah,
you can prepare psychologically.
That's what it is.
That's a lot of the effort is in that.
I was gonna say that, yeah, because that's what I'm noticing, because as I'm going through it, I'm like, I don't know what's the next pose. Sure. So by the time I try to regain from the last one, I'm like, oh man, I'm already like.
Yeah, so like when they're saying like side bend or stuff when your hands are up, you don't have to go super straight and try real hard. Just do it a little bit and listen to what she's saying. A little bit and listen to what she's saying. And by the end, you'll be surprised that you'll still get winded. Yeah. Because it's just the newness of the blood circulation, the breathing and the muscle activation. Right. Like, but you get a little muscle memory, be able to do it a few times. Yeah. And that's going to give you a huge advantage when you go to a hot studio. Yeah, that's all. But you're here now. Yeah, yeah. So, man, I mean, I feel like the yoga that I've been doing has been helping me stay flexible at minimum, and help me with my breathing cadence or rhythm, if you will. But then again, it's a whole nother league doing it in hot yoga. So well, and that's a different. So I do the breathing as like you're breathing. It's really a breathing practice. So if the 30-minute lunar flow you're doing, it's really 30 minutes of inhale, exhale with a bunch of poses in between. Yeah. Versus the Bikram practice is a bunch of poses, and they just say breathe naturally. There's no emphasis on. There's a little bit at the beginning and end with these 2 breathing exercises. Yeah, I remember. They don't explain too much. And then throughout all the poses, there's no emphasis, and they'll even discourage you in class. They'll be like, "Don't make sound." And I don't really listen to their instructions too much, but you'll really overheat yourself more in the Bikram class if you try to do breathing like in the lunar. Oh, okay. It's taken me. I had to learn. I think for me, what I'm trying to find is the right. Like for me, what I notice when I'm transitioning, which poses are best to transition off of exhale or on an inhale. That makes sense. So, for example, like in the Bikram. Oh, yeah. So if I'm leaning this way, I see it's better for me to inhale. When you collapse, inhale. When you come up, yeah. So that's what I learned. Like, I found myself like when I did that, I try to come up off of exhale, and it was more of a struggle versus me doing it on an inhale. So
that's where learning
Because the inhale like brings pressure into your torso.
Mhm.
So it's like if you squeeze a balloon that's like limp over and you squeeze it, it goes and it
Mm.
springs up. So when you increase the pressure in your thoracic, that helps
That's
bring
beautiful.
you back up.
Man, that's so
When you
beautiful.
forward fold, you exhale. When you upward stand, inhale.
And it's crazy, right? Because you would think when you're in the mix of that, you would do that because you're there. You're like you're just trying to get up, and next you know you see your rhythm of breathing is just out of whack. You know, sometimes at least for me. So man, but that's the beauty of having a practice, you know. And I'm blessed to have a master yogi here that can give me some insight like that. And but this is what it takes. Like look, just like that conversation I just had with Yogi Chris, right? That's the power of having a tribe and having a mastermind that helps you stay in alignment to your purpose or your potential. And these are necessary, man, completely necessary in growing as an individual, as a man. And this is something that I've seen for myself because, you know, coming from a military background, you know, you inherit that brotherhood or that, you know, comrade and brother in arms kind of vibe. However, when you go into more of a spiritual practice and a brotherhood, it's a whole nother game that we're playing here. Whole nother game that we're playing. And it's more power within the individual that grows as a tribe, you know, because the more I grow as a, oh man, I hear ACD every time I say it, more that I grow, he grows. It's comedy. It's what really helps you evolve. And this is all I care about. Listen, if you know one thing about Master Pyro is that all I give a fuck about is growing in power and in my potential. That's it. And however, along as those two things are in alignment of betterment of everybody around me, because I don't want power and all the other stuff if it weakens or lessens anybody around me, because I don't want that. I genuinely don't, because as a leader, a true leader, you want other leaders around you. You don't want weak people around you, because then that dilutes the energy that you pour into people. It dilutes it when you tear people down or you make them less of you. And that's something that, you know, of course I learned from AZD as well, because as profound as AZD is, he always makes sure, at least what I've been able to see is that he's always makes sure that everybody around him is at their highest potential. And that's something that's very key in these things. And this is what it takes to keep you in your alignment of practices. Your, like I said, your physical practice, your what you read, like Juicy right now, he's reading a book. What you read, what you choose to input. Like, what do you input into your CPU, your computer, which is also known as your brain? What do you input? Because guess what? Even if you just sit here, even if I just sit here all day, things are being inputted into my mind. I'm on my phone, I'm on my tablet, I'm on a TV, or just watching out the window. Things are being inputted in your brain, in your CPU, I like to say. So it's like, what are you putting? What are you cognizant? I'm kind of terrible with that word. What are you intentionally putting into your mind or in your computer? Because that is what's going to circulate into your world. I promise you. And man, and I really do, man. If I could just have like a little screen right here that just flashes through my life, so I could show you guys how I was once in the military and I was thinking one way and I was wishing I could be this and wishing I could be that. And then you guys can see me today and I could show you like videos of me doing some crazy shit. Whoever follows me on Instagram, I'm pretty sure you probably wonder how the fuck is Pyro doing this shit. Well, I'm literally talking about it right now. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. I always tell everybody, even the models I work with, even the artists and all that, I always tell them, if you think my work is good, if you think my creative process is good, you got to understand the state of mind that I'm working with. You have to understand the concepts of IMC Nation, because that is where I pull my creative source and power from, 100%. How I live this lifestyle now, where I can travel, I'm living on my passion. Like I remember, all right, so let me give you another key of a North Star that I got from my mentor, Arasta Part Bazaar. When I first started listening to my mentor, once again, like I said, you have to find a mentor. The first things that I inherit or that I downloaded in my mind from AZD is he said, if you're a man, you must know your value of exchange to the world. Number one. Number two, this is what to me. Another thing he said is that you must be living on a passion. You must live off of a passion. Like, what do you want to do? What do you live for? What do you want to do in this world? If money wasn't a thing, if paying rent wasn't a thing, and having, girlfriends and having to spend money wasn't a thing, what would you really want to do? And I remember not even having an answer for that. Man, that's a trip, man. That's a trip. There's been plenty of times in my life where I was like given the opportunity to get like anything, like, when somebody's like, well, what do you want? And you have the opportunity to see whatever you want. And you got to literally sit there and be like, fuck, bro, I don't know what I want, bro. All right, that's a big indicator that you have not found your North Star yet, because it should be almost immediate. What do you want? And on top of that, if it's the first thing that comes to your mind is a material thing, it's something you can buy, you got more work to do, my friend. Something that I saw for myself too. Because I'm telling you, the true richness of life, listen, these experiences that I find myself in with these models, these girls, traveling and things of that nature, it's something that I never, like, it's what makes me rich. It's not my bank account. Hard for my bank account. I'll tell you that right now. My bank account has little to nothing to do with the experiences that I live, man. And you would think the experiences that I have, I must have an overflow of shit in there. But spiritually, I do. Spiritually, I do. If you guys ever seen the interview with Bob Marley, when the guy's like, "Are you rich? Are you wealthy?" And then Bob Marley asks him, "Hey, well, what does that mean to you? What richness are you talking about?" He's like, do you have material things? Do you have gold and money? He's like, I don't got that kind of richness. I don't have that kind of richness. I'm rich in life. Some amongst those lines. And I really love, man, I gotta save that for next week. I'm gonna share that. But it's so powerful because that's the essence of how I live my character. That's how I truly carry myself. I'm so rich in experiences. I'm so rich. I'm so abundant in how I want to live that money does not dictate the quality of my life. Now, I ain't gonna lie to you. It took me a while to get out my way in that, because I was a lot in my own way and believing that, because I was raised in this whole life like you were in this planet Earth, where it's like, you gotta have money to even fucking have a good time. You want to have a good time? Do you got money? Oh, you can't go. You got to ask a friend for some money, and then you got to go through the whole thing of like, I got to pay my friend back to have fun, and it's like you're not really having fun now, because it's like this weird shit that we've been going through. It's like, fuck, bro. And I finally broke out of that shit because I don't see fun in those things anymore. What I see fun is doing what I just said today: flying into town, coming here in San Jose, seeing my mentor, seeing all the guardians, seeing the space that I chose to grow this individual that I see myself as, because this is the only place I can do that. I know that at the level I want to. I know other people want to do some other shit, but this is the purest form of communication. So let me give a couple things that we can immediately analyze, so we can shift into a better path when connecting to our North Star and alignment. The first thing is that you got to change your language. I think you listen to AZD every day, that's predominant, like your language. But I got to be reminded of that, because I am a practitioner of AZD. So I'm going to repeat some things that he say, of course, but it's because I practice what it is that he does to the best of my abilities, of course. So communication, man, what language are you using? Okay, so how I would do it is I will look at my North Star and it's like, man, what do I really want to do? And, for example, for me, it was a filmmaker, a director, model management, entrepreneur, a yogi, healthy, mentally, physically, right? All these things, right? Okay, all those group of words that I just said, that is my North Star currently. Boom. Now, that North Star has certain languages on it. 9 times out of 10, if you look at them, if you was to grade them, they all have plus marks next to them. Any words that you use in reference to those things, if any sentence that you use with those things has a negative in it, you're taking away from the alignment or the connection to your North Star. So you got to change your language. When people start saying, well, if I get an opportunity, or if that happens for me, or if in my world and how I practice, the only time I use if is when ideas and concepts are in the preconception of my creation. So when I'm masterminding, when I'm brainstorming, oh yeah, if is there all day, because that's how you draw from this other world of ether. That's where you pull from. If this was possible, if that. The moment you make the decision, like I did, I want to do this, filmmaker, director, blah, 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 it's no longer if. If is only in that world. Once I transition to on this side, now it's when it's going to happen. Now, how it happens, you got to let that up to God. There's no way you can calculate how it's going to happen. You can do your best. You can plan. You can make a plan, right? I learned that from my military background. It's essential to have a plan. Why? Because when you have a plan, you cut down the probabilities and the odds and probabilities of it going against you when you have a plan. That's what a plan does. But does that mean indefinitely you're going to get to that point if you make a plan? No. This is why the power of improvising is essential. Because let's say you travel through the course of the plan and you get to the end of the plan and you're not at your mark. It's your job to improvise from that point. Not say, oh man, I did all my thing, I planned and all that, and I didn't make it. Fuck, now it's over. No. That's the mentality of a terrible soldier, a terrible warrior. Like, think about it. You're a warrior for your life. Like, in your life, you are that warrior. You are that star player. You are that individual that everybody is counting on to achieve what you're trying to achieve. Nobody's going to be, listen, nobody gave me the role of director or filmmaker, all that. I had to get that to myself. Ain't nobody saw that in me. I had to bring it to fruition. By doing that, I kept on using the same language of that realm. Everything that wasn't in alignment of it started to phase out. Like AZD said, shine the light of how you truly feel and how you want to really live. And the moment you shine the light of that and things begin to move and scavenge and all that, now you know that thing was not supposed to be there, whatever that thing is. This is essential. So before I continue, I'm going to go ahead and take a quick little break. If anybody has any insights or any comments, concerns, or maybe I didn't make any sense at all, then please feel free to tap in and let me know so we can get some good feedback and make sure I'm giving you guys some value here. See here. No pressure if you don't. Just want to give some time for that to digest a little bit. All right, cool. So your language, your language. So there's something that we can immediately look at, your language and your ideas and thoughts. And it's not about so much controlling them to a degree. It's recognizing. It's addressing that, for some reason my thoughts are off today. And when you instead of activating the ego to defend something, you start to see, well, what string is attached to this feeling that I have? You start seeing that it was a communication that you didn't handle or you should have said or whatever. And you got to handle that within yourself so you can begin to free your communication. And there's different things you can do, man. Like for me, like these beads right here. These that I wear right here specifically to help me with communicating. These are called sodalite. These are sodalite crystals. And it's mainly used for the throat chakra. Now, hey, look, I don't fucking know if it's true or not, but this is a practice that I use to help me stay in that alignment or in that thing. And I practice that. It's through language. It's through language. Bottom line. What else? Oh, this is major, 100% major. And it goes back into having a tribe, communicating these ideas, whatever ideas you have. Like me, being a filmmaker, creator, I started talking to more photographers. I started talking to more videographers. I started talking to more models, more business people. So you got to start getting into the world of speaking to people that understands that world of yours. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're into books, you want to be an author. It will make sense to start talking to more authors. It makes sense to start talking to more people to understand about writing a book or putting a book together. Like you got to give up lone wolfing so much. You know, man, if it was one person that was a big lone wolf, was me for sure. When I got out the military, it was like, man, everybody for themselves at this point. And it was like, yo, that's not gonna help me get nowhere, man. Like, I don't get me wrong, I produced a lot by myself. I proved to myself I can do a lot. However, the truth of the matter is, whether you realize it now or later, you can only go so far carrying shit yourself. I'm telling you, like, imagine this. Imagine you're going to hike with 5 people and there's one bag that everybody has to carry. How good would it feel to put the bag down, like, all right, brother, can you haul this for the next mile? And the next brother hauls it for that. Bro, you're gonna go a whole lot more further versus you just carrying that one bag for 5 miles straight versus you just carrying it for 1 mile while the other brother carrying it for 4. That's literally what we're doing with our baggage or what we're trying to create in our life. We're trying to carry all this shit, and yeah, you can do it, but the time it's going to take you to do it on your own is going to take you a lot longer versus having a team. And this is why it's so essential for people like you guys tapping in with a tribe. And this is how I've been able to live the life that I've been living. Because listen, it's something that's new. You know, we all seek to live a life that, you know, whatever that is for us. But I guarantee you it's gonna have the same flavor that I've experienced, which is like, man, when you start doing it for real, you start questioning, like, man, is this real? Like, did I really cross over from this to that? And then it's like you start catching the wrong language again. You're like, man, I already made it. Why am I sitting here second guessing if I should be doing this or not? It's weird. Like even myself, me as a filmmaker and doing, I'm like, man, is this what I should be doing still? But what is that? To me, what I realize in that is that once again, I've been knocked off my North Star. I forgot the potential that I'm capable of achieving. This is why having things to remind yourself, to put yourself back into frequency, put back into, it's a natural thing. This is why me personally, I locked my hair. That was when I made the decision, I'm going to be a spiritual individual. That's part of why I locked my hair. I started getting a lot of tattoos. That was me. That's the expression of me committing to the universe. Like this is the expression of me staying consistent on this thing I call spirituality, right? Wearing beads, like excessive, like walking through the airport with this shit. Imagine a dreadhead like me walking through the airport like this. Everybody's looking at me like, who is this guy? Right? But why is that? It's because it's the expression of me saying, listen, man, at the end of the day, I want to be connected to something that I know is not in this physical world. And that's what I'm on, you know? And this is what I seek. And this remains a certain vortex in my life. I don't hide anything on how I live. Like the models that I shoot with, they've been to base 5. Some of them, about 3 or 4, 5, 6, been to the base. They've been in my room. They seen that I have no bed in there. They seen the whole base doesn't have no bed in there, right? They seen I got beads on the wall. They seen I got my little altar on the side. They see I got incense, right? And you would think like, man, I don't know how this baddie gonna think about this. And it's like, what is it to think about it? When you learn how to frame, when you learn how to, it's not even about so much about framing, because then I could see where it kind of went wrong there. When you start learning how to give value to the life that you live and communicate it properly, it can be accepted. Even the baddies of baddies, man. Because at the end of the day, what they're looking for is somebody that is confident what the fuck they're doing. Like AZ said, that is your tits and ass. How confident you walk in your skin. Bottom line. How confident are you walking in your skin? And to me, how I walk confident in my skin is being on a process, man. Fuck. Like going to the gym, going to the sauna, bro, I feel so good. I can't wait to go to the yoga today with AZ. Now, look, I'm on the wait list, so maybe I might not make it. Hopefully I do. But I might be trash at yoga today. But I'm ready because I know that's a stretch in my character, right? You got to have that optimistic state of mind towards yourself, knowing that I have this thing in my mind that it's like who here knows about Dragon Ball Z? You know, like the Super Saiyans, every time that they fight, every time they get defeated, quote unquote, they get stronger. They get stronger every time they get defeated. That my mentality is like that. So I literally seek out the challenges as a soldier that I used to be. I sought out everything that could make me weaker. So when it's time for war, I've already known everything that can make me weak. So I know how to tread. So what are some things that you need to that's something I would ask myself that, you know, it could be reflection for you, which is, you know, what are some things I need to reflect on that that I need to be made more stronger within myself. You know, of course, language, of course, the relationship within yourself, right? Or your own practice. And that goes back into your North Star, right? Having these activities that help you stay in alignment of it and not compromising it for no girl, for no business partner, none of that. Like today, you know what's crazy today? Today, somebody sent me an Apple Pay payment for a music video that I did. And they accidentally sent me an extra 200. Man, the old self came up real quick. Like, man, I just came up extra 2. And I was like, man, I ain't gonna do nothing. And then he hit me. He's like, yo, I think I sent extra 2. But it didn't show up in the messages. It showed up in my wallet, but not in my messages. And I was gonna hit him with the screenshot, like, nah, bro, I didn't get it, man. I don't know what to tell you, man. You want to go check your bank and all that. But then immediately I started seeing, I'm like, well, what is that going to get me, bro? Like my ethics kicking real quick. And I was like, well, that takes away from my alignment of who I want to see and who I want to be. Like, here's the test, my brother. Are you abundant in money like you say you are? Are you abundant in the life that you say you are? So why are you trying to hang on to something that's not even yours? But it was really quick. I'm talking about this happens within like 3 seconds in my mind, like 3 seconds. But it's like a really slow 3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, yeah, brother, I just checked my wallet. There's an extra 200. I'm sending it back to you, bro. But it was really quick. And he was like, man, thank you, bro. And I could tell in his mind, it was like, fuck, I got to ask the man for the $200 back. And, you know, he's going. And I put myself in his shoes immediately. I'm like, man, you see, this is the beauty of having strong ethics and being so pure in your life, because that's how God's going to continue to bless me. I saw the moment I would have compromised that is the moment God's going to start compromising my life. Oh, man, that was so deep for me. I said, man, if I compromise this shit right here, right now about money, man, I'm not going to make it too far. Trying to pinch little things here and there. Like ACD says, if you don't know, like Arash Deepazar says, the plate is going around, man. When it's your time to eat and it's your time to get your blessing or whatever it is, you're going to get yours. But if you try to reach over somebody else to grab their shit or your shit, and you end up spilling their shit and your shit to come back to you, you're making a mess out of life. And this is where the relationships around you begin to be more tight around you, because they sense this vibe of abundance. I got to start sharing some clips of what these models be saying about me. About how they feel my presence and how I am and stuff like that, because it comes from that internal state. Your current emotional state can be transferred to somebody else, 100%. I've tested this 1,000 times personally, so I know it's real. And that's something I want to share with you guys before I take off on here. Apply your knowledge so you know it's real. I say take it a step further, like I did. Ask for a witness. Ask somebody to witness how good you are. Ooh, and what happens when you do that? You start to become more accountable, don't you? That's the life I made with the universe. Hey, man, look, I want to be so great, and I want to prove other people how great I am. Send me witnesses. Send me people that can witness how good I am so I can be held accountable. Like what happened today. Because I'm so in tune with my North Star, I knew that wasn't the right thing. But it was the old self showing up. And it's like, man, that happens to me. That happens to everybody, for sure, guaranteed. So I encourage everybody to continue exercising that. Stay social. What I mean by stay social, don't do robotic interactions with nobody. None. Like, minimize that as much as possible, man. When you go get your gas, when you go get your drink from the gas station, when you go order your food, don't make that interaction normal. Don't make it ordained. Don't make it like every single one that happens. Make it special. Make it leave your fingerprint in every interaction you have today. Somehow, some way. I guarantee you, the more you interact or speak from that perspective, you start seeing that people will respond to you a lot more differently, more like the way you want them to respond to you. And that's the best way to stretch not only your imagination, but stretch your character. And I think that's what we're all looking for. How can we stretch this character to the way that we can influence how we want to influence and get what we want out of this lifetime? So I encourage that in everybody here. I want to salute to every one of my brothers that's here today. I appreciate you guys as always, man. You guys help me keep going, staying focused, staying accountable, if you will. You know, even as good as I think I am sometimes, you know, it's important to have this pressure of accountability to continue growing. And, you know, like AZD says, it takes one to help the other one get to that point. And I look forward to anybody that's here seeking to be that next level in IMC Nation, growing and things of that nature. I'm out here in base 1, like I said, doing guardianship. Sultan's room is right here. Got my bags right here. You know, whole living room here and whatnot. And of course, you know, the goal is to never be the same. Why would you want to be the same? You know? So once again, thanks everybody. Salute everybody here. IMC Nation. This is Master Power signing out. I appreciate you guys, man. Stay blessed, stay motivated, stay